So till now we discussed about the introduction, viruses, viral replication. Now we are going to see that how you can say this replicated virus, you can say the increased number of the progeny of the virus is disturbing the host at a cellular level. So now we are going to discuss about the viral pathogenesis at cellular level. So make the heading viral pathogenesis at cellular level. Cellular level. Now, the one thing which we are clear that we need you can say a mass number of viruses to disturb us, or you can say a less number of viruses will not disturb the host, there is a need for the, you can say, mass progeny of the virus. Now when the viral replicate enough, okay, by the virus replicate enough, then they can disturb the cells, which is you can say either they can change the shape of the cell, that is referred as the, you can say, morphological changes in the cell, or either they can disturb their function, So at the cellular level, when you can say our normal cell is, you can say, exposed with the virals, you can say genetic materials, or we can say the viral genome, then our cell shows variety of responses. Okay, our cells shows the variety of you can say the responses can be changes in their shape and size, that is referred as the morphological changes. Okay, that is referred as a morphological changes, or else they can, you can say, these viruses can disturb their functionality. So there could be, or there can be, the functional changes. So there is a morphological changes or the functional changes. So now we will see step by step how they are, you can say, disturbing, or how they are changing this. So we are now going to discuss about the types, okay, types of, you can say, viral pathogenesis at the cellular level. So the first type is by making cell to die. Okay, so the first type is a cell death. The first type is a cell death. Cell death. This is a first type. Now suppose this is our one cell. This is our cell, and this is exposed with the virus, you can say, genetic material is already entered in this cell. Viral genetic material is entered in the cells, and these genetic materials, what they are doing, we also don't forget, we have the membrane bound double stranded, you can say, the genetic material. We have the double stranded DNA. Fine. So these viral genomes, once they come into the cell, it start replicating. From 1 it become 2, okay, and then so on. Fine. And by this way, their genetic material, okay, inhibiting our own genetic material. The host, you can say, native genetic material is inhibited by the viral genetic material. Fine. And you know that what's the function of our nucleus? The function of nucleus is to, you can say, control the growth of the cell, or make cell as a functional. It means our normal genetic material, generally, you can say, they can you can say make a stable structural as well as the functional aspect of the cell, or in a simple language you can say they maintain the nature of a particular cell, isn't it? That's the function of our you can say nucleus, and each of our cells have the nucleus. But once the viral you can say genetic material or virus enters, that's called as the virion, the infectious part, that either inhibit our normal cellular you can say nucleus, or either they you can say directly make cell die. So it is the cell death due to the inhibition, cell death, okay, due to inhibition. Inhibition means suppression, stopping the normal function, okay. They can either you can say inhibit the DNA, or they can inhibit the RNA, or they can inhibit the proteins. Fine. So they disturb a lot host you can say genetic replication, the host DNA replication, or it can be you can say interfere with the RNA synthesis, or it can interfere with the protein synthesis. And by this way this virus genetic material, the you can say genome, makes cell to die. That's the first type, called as the cell death. Understood? No problem. Now let's move ahead and discuss about the second type. The second type is that in second type what is happening, these viruses, okay, they transform the normal cells into the malignant cell, okay. They transfer normal cell into the malignant cell, and this you can say the changes are referred as a transformation. So second mode, or you can say type, is transformation. It's a transformation. In the transformation, what is happening? Our normal cell is transformed into the malignant cell. By the viruses. Now this is different from the cell death which we discussed previously. It is a different, this mode of you can say pathogenesis of virus is different from the cellular death. In which way? Here this malignant cell, they need you can say less nutrient, or we can say they have the less nutrient requirement to grow as compared to the normal cell. Understood? And this is the irreversible state. Two things you should write it down about the malignant cell. The first, which is transformed by the viruses, the first thing is it is a irreversible state. Irreversible cellular changes. Fine. And another thing is it need less requirement to grow, okay, less requirements, fastidious you can say requirements to grow. Fine. That's the another way, and referred as a transformation. Now how this is happening, we will see through the one diagram. Suppose this is our cell, and this cell is captured by the virus. You know that virus have one protection, and that is referred as a capsid, and inside the capsid the viral genetic material is there. Fine. Now this is our normal double stranded DNA, our own genetic material. Fine. So what is happening? These you can say viruses, they will capture the cellular DNA, normal cellular DNA, and transform this cell as a malignant cell. Now it's become the malignant. You know that the DNA contain the genes, and those expression of the genes result into the growth, okay, growth of the cell, as well as controlling the overgrowth, but once these viruses, they captured the cellular genetics, then cellular genetics material, there you can say they don't have the enough capacity to, you can say, control their cellular growth. They loses the capacity to control their overgrowth, okay, and it become the malignant. Fine, understood, no problem. So this is the host DNA material. This is the host DNA material, and this material is a viral genome. Fine, no problem. Yeah, now let's move ahead and discuss the next type. The next type is about the cell fusion. Next type is the cell fusion. So as the name suggests, that the normal cell will fuse with the viruses, with the virus infectious part, that's called the virion, So the next type, make the heading, the third mode, or you can say the third type of viral pathogenesis at the cellular level is, cell fusion. Cell fusion. Now, in cell fusion, what is happening? The normal, you can say, cell, fine, it will fuses with the viruses, and this fusion result into the multinucleated cell. Suppose this is a viral genetic material, this is a host cell, and now the host cell along with the viral genetic material, they, you can say, fuse, and that they result into the giant multinucleated cell. Okay, giant, write it down, giant multinucleated cell. Got the points? No problem. So infection of the cells with certain viruses causes the cell to fuse, producing the multinucleated cells. And the example is the herpes virus. Okay, example you should write about the cell fusion is a herpes viruses. So what modes we discussed, what types we discussed? First we discussed about the cell death. This is the one way. Another one is the transformation, and this last type is a cell death. Now these all things can be observed under the microscope. Okay, these all things can be observed under the microscope. Fine, and this all, you can say, the facilities, all changes is termed as a cytopathic effect. Okay, this is referred as a cytopathic effect, means those all structural and functional changes in the host by the, you can say, viral infection, they are called as the cytopathic effect. Okay, these are called as the cytopathic effects. Fine, no problem. Now, so one thing you just keep in your mind that once they captured or either transform the cells, they start, you can say, producing their own virus. Like our own cells become programmed in such a way that they become the factory for producing the viruses, producing the viral progeny. Understood? No problem. Now, so let's summarize today's class. What we discussed about the viral pathogenesis. And then we seen about the normal, you can say, description about the viruses. We discussed about the viral replication, which follows the one-step growth curve. Okay. Then we discussed about that the viral pathogenesis at cellular level. At a cellular level, they are making cell to die. That's called the cell death, or either they transform the normal cell into the malignant cell, or there will be a, you can say, the cell fusion. Okay, understood? No problem. So thank you with having me. Bye, have a nice day.